Hi scholars, it's Miss Cherkis. I'm a little late on my introduction. I was actually driving home, so I wasn't able to record a video and post it online, but I'm here now, and I just wanted to go over a few things before I start our first lesson that should have really been for yesterday. You all had gotten your packet, and if you didn't, they're either being mailed home to you or someone is coming to get them. But for our math packet, there's a lot of extra work for you in it. So every day, if we had a sprint that day, I put the sprint in there. It's not, you don't have to do it, but it's something extra that you can work on. It's something that will help you practice while at home. I also have the application problems every day in the packet as well. Then you have your problem set for the day, which is the most important. That's what I really, really need you to be doing every single day that we're out of school. So you have your problem set, and it says at the top what lesson and if that it is a problem set. So for lesson 1, you have this page and the back page for your problem set. And then I also put in the homework. So you can see it says lesson 1 homework. It's also something extra, kind of like our spicy page for you to get done if you want to do some extra work. And this will also really help you. In the back of the packet, you can see that there are what we call templates. So like for this one, it says Lesson 1, Template 2, something that you can cut out to help you when you're doing the work with me on the computer or when you're working just at home. So there's just a couple. There's not one for every lesson, but I would always just double check to see if there's something you need to cut out or something extra that might help you, and that's in the back. I didn't put page numbers. I just set it up by week. So like our packets usually look, it'll say what week. So week 28 is this week. And then once you get later in the packet, you'll see the other week. So it'll let you know when the next week begins. So like you see here, this says week 29, and then you would start over here for next Monday. That way you can be organized in your work and just follow along with our YouTube videos. I'm going to post 2 times a week of me, but the other 3 days is going to be a lesson from Eureka, actually, which is what we learned from. So you'll have a little bit different, but I'll make sure that your parents know and that it's in the description on this YouTube video so that you're sure where to look and what you need to be looking at that day to help you with your work. So now that we have that done, we're going to get right to our lesson. So for lesson 1 of this brand new module, we're going to be organizing shapes by their attributes. Attributes is a fancy word for just describing parts. So maybe another word for that would be characteristics. You might have heard in kindergarten. So when we look at shapes, we kind of describe them and what they have in common with other shapes to maybe make groups. So today I'm going to first start by showing you some different shapes on my whiteboard. Some of you might have a whiteboard at home you can follow along with. If not, that is totally okay. You can just watch and learn from mine. So I have 2 different groups of shapes on here. I have this side. This is a little group I made. And then I have this group over here. I'm going to look and see what might be different or similar about my shapes that I made. On this side, I can tell that there's a little bit of opening, and there's some opening. They're not really closed. But over here, I can see that they're closed. So if I put something in there, it wouldn't really be able to get out because all the sides are touching. So we call these shapes open shapes, and we call these shapes closed shapes. Because they're closed, we can't get out of them, and these are more open. We're going to talk a lot about closed shapes today, but this is something you may have learned in kindergarten, just the difference of open and closed shapes. So try and remember that knowledge from last year. So I'm going to make one group of shapes. And we're going to think about what they all have in common or what their attributes are. So I have 3 shapes on my board. They look similar, but they're not exactly the same. So I'm going to look at these and think, what is similar? How can I describe them? What are the attributes of these shapes? Well, I can see that this shape has 1, 2, 3 sides. This shape has 1, 2, 3 sides. And this shape has 1, 2, 3 sides. I can write that they all have 3 sides. But I think I could be a little more specific. Because if I said 3 sides, it looks like 3, kind of looks similar, but something different. I'm going to make it more specific and say that there are 3 straight sides. So all 3 of these shapes have 3 straight sides. They also have what we call corners. So I put these little lines to show you those corners. They all have 3 corners. So this is my first group. And I'm going to have a poster for my next lesson to remind you about what we talk about in this one. So that's my first group. It had 3 straight sides and 3 corners. My next group they all have 2 attributes that are the same. Looking at these, I'm going to think about the 2 things we talked about for the first group. We talked about sides and we talked about corners. So these all have 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4. So they all have 4 straight sides. I say straight because they are made of straight lines. So if I were to draw something like this has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, but they're not all straight, so it wouldn't be in this group. Something else I'll had, and I can see it kind of in here, I showed you a little bit, but also in this one, they have 4 corners. I'm going to write 4 corners. So this is my second group. They have 4 straight sides and 4 corners. We're going to talk a little bit about what these are in a later lesson. So try and remember that I drew that on there. And then my last group, I'm going to show you what that would look like. It would look a little like, let's see, this. When I look at this group, it's hard to see what they all have in common. This last group is just other shapes that we're going to see. So they're not going to have similar attributes, but we're going to talk about what they all have. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight sides. So I'm going to draw or write 5 straight sides under that one. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight sides. Over here, though, I'm going to think about it. Is it open or is it a closed? Well, if I put my finger in here, it would be able to get out. So it's actually an open shape. And then down here, these are similar because they have no straight sides. So this last group that you'll see on my poster for the next lesson is just a group of shapes that don't have similar attributes, but we can say what they do have. These are other shapes that we're going to talk about later in this module. So today, when you do, or if you did it yesterday, you can check. When you do your problem set, it's going to have you circle shapes with certain attributes. So I'm going to go over a few little examples on my whiteboard that you can practice at home. So I'm going to draw two shapes. And we're going to think about which shape I'm describing. So I have two shapes on my board. And I wrote at the bottom, 3 straight sides and 3 corners. So I'm going to look at my shapes and I'm going to draw little ticks like this. Well, that's one on each side. And then I'm going to draw my little, kind of like a half circle to show my corners. I'm going to do that for both. Now, which one is 3 straight sides and 3 corners? I'm going to look. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's got to be that one. So we're looking at what the attributes are and figuring out which shape it is. When we get later in the lesson, we're going to really name these shapes, talk about what they're called, more about their attributes, and learning how to group these different shapes. We're also going to make different shapes as we get further along. So just to look back at the problem set again, so you know, for number 1, you're going to circle the shapes that have 5 straight sides. Number 2, you're going to circle the shapes that have no straight sides. Number 3, you're going to circle the shapes where every corner is a square corner. That means, like when I showed you my group, if it makes a square corner, you circle it. And the way that you can tell is by using your template. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut this out. So kind of looks like an L shape a little bit. And then you're going to put it up to your shape. It's hard to show this. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it against there. And if it matches up perfectly, then that means it's a square corner. So you're going to try that for your problem set all on your own using that template. On the bottom it says to draw a shape that has 3 straight sides. And B wants you to draw another shape with 3 straight sides that's different from your first shape and from the shapes that you see above. So you got to get creative. On the back of your problem set, you're going to write the attributes. So you're going to look at this group, kind of like a group I showed you, and it says they all blank. They all, and you're going to say what they have, their attributes. You're going to do 2 of those. And then down here, you're going to circle the shape that best fits with group A, which is up here. Number 7, you're going to draw 2 more shapes that would fit in group A. And number 8, you're going to draw 1 shape that would not fit in group A. So you need to make sure you get both pages of your problem set done. And if you want to do extra work on your homework, work on the application problem, and work on the sprint. But that's all you need to do for Monday's work. My next video will be about today's work. I know it's a little late and I'm a little messed up. Hopefully I'll get that in also tonight. If not, you'll get 2 videos tomorrow to help you with Tuesday's work and Wednesday's work. If you have any questions, make sure to tell your parents and tell them to reach out to myself or Miss Colma or Miss Jackson. All right, I'll see you in the next video.